Absolutely brilliant rugby league. Exceptional. Exhilarating. There's the speed. Green light.
This kid is special. Wow.
Here they go. And the star is born. That is simply beautiful to watch. Hat-trick inside 17 minutes. Oh, that is even better. They're putting on a show on a Thursday night on Fox League.
Welcome to NRL 360 Rugby League from every angle. Joining me again, the great Gordon Tallis.
Hey,
Let's bring in Dan Ginnane and Michael Carayannis. And how big is this game going to be? It is the Melbourne Storm taking on the Brisbane Broncos tomorrow night, Thursday, 7 p.m. live and ad break free right here on Fox League. Gordy, got to be looking forward to this one.
Yeah, massive challenge for Brisbane. They have a horrible record against Melbourne, and Melbourne have been one of those sides a little bit inconsistent, and without their halfback, it's a real big chance for them.
We have only got 5 rounds left, but we've got about 7 blockbusters. There's been 2, just the way the draw's worked, is luck of the draw.
Beautiful, really.
There haven't been a great deal of blockbusters. Now we get every week at least 1 or 2. Melbourne's got a few of these to come. They've got 4 games against other top 6 teams, so I think we're going to find out about them as much as any team.
Yeah.
And Gordy mentions the Storm's record against the Broncos, but Michael Maguire's won just 1 game out of 14 against Craig Bellamy.
Is that right? I didn't
It's
know
crazy,
that.
yeah.
That
It's
is
sort of
crazy.
flown
So
under the
even
radar.
before he got to Brisbane,
even before
his
he got to
record was
Brisbane,
poor.
right? Yeah, he won 1 game for South Sydney. I think it was back in 13 in a finals game. So remarkable to think that because he had success, lots of success, obviously at South Sydney.
Be a big turnaround for Imagine Broncos if they can beat the Storm. Now, this Indigenous round spans over 2 weeks, so no one misses out. Great initiative by the NRL.
Yeah, well, obviously with the bye, you want every player, and especially all the Indigenous. They've been a massive part. I know when I retired from State of Origin, I think we're at about 20 or 35% of Indigenous players. So they do a great job. The jerseys look fantastic, and those guys have been stars for a long, long time.
Often you get teams that have the beautiful Indigenous jumper and they can't wear them on the round because maybe it clashes or it just doesn't work out. But at least this way we can make sure they all get seen.
Oh, I agree. Now, Storm coach Craig Bellamy has today addressed the noise around star playmaker Cameron Munster.
Oh, at the end of the day, Cameron's got to do what's right for him, and at the end of the day, if that's going to Perth, it's the best thing for him and his family. What he's done for our club, we're not going to, be dirty on that. But we'd love to keep him at our club. We'd love to keep him, and we'll do everything we can to keep him in.
Yeah, Coach Craig Bellamy there, adamant that he wants to keep Cameron at the club, but said he wouldn't stand in his way if he wanted to leave. I think it's probably right for me to clear a few things up and talk on behalf of the situation. So Cameron doesn't want to leave Melbourne, and Melbourne don't want to let him go. At the moment, it's really just all speculation. One thing's for sure, I'm not shopping him to Perth. I'm not allowed to shop him to Perth, but also I don't need to. But it's a unique situation because you've got a new franchise which doesn't come along too often, and they could have possible interest in him, or they're trying to build a team around a club or a marquee player. And then you've got the Melbourne Storm who are trying to fit 5 or 6 players, superstars, into their salary cap. As it stands right now, it is just speculation. And the scenario as it is, nothing's going to change. He's going to be at Melbourne for the next couple of years, and that's it. Now, if anything changes and the scenario changes, and then, there comes a point where all of us have got to get together and have a chat about it and discuss it, we will. But right now, there's nothing really to talk about, unless, as I said, things change in terms of who they sign and where their cap's at and all that. But right now, it is a non-event.
Mick and Dan, if you were the club, what are you doing? Cameron's at 30, you've got young kids, Peasant coming up, you just signed Jerome Hughes, Harry Grant. What are you doing in this situation?
I think the key player that you mentioned there is Jonah Peasant. Gordy, I'm looking at him long term, and I'm building my future around Jonah. You've got Jerome Hughes locked in as well for the next couple of seasons, and I'm going, as Craig said, thank you for the service, Cam. We got 12 more good months. Let's rip in and let's see if we can win another competition or two. But I'm probably going to let him go.
Firstly, it's a joke that Perth can't start signing players. I mean, they're a new franchise. They're under the same salary cap as everyone else. There's no draft. They should be, a new franchise should always be given something. Now, the excuse will be the Dolphins weren't given those favours either. And they've done remarkably well. Just because the Dolphins weren't given that right doesn't mean it was correct. I think it was the wrong decision, and the Dolphins have succeeded in spite of it.
They were 75 years old, the Dolphins, and been around a long time.
But we don't have seen if we had a draft system, you can manipulate the draft and in favour of the new franchise.
So when should they start, Dan? When would you like
Now, open season. Everyone else, November 1. Everyone else now. Perth, as of now, can go and talk to people. They've got to build an entire club. Anyway, that aside, I'm fascinated with the Bellamy aspect of this, is that he's so open to this idea. I mean, he made it clear they want to keep him, but there was something beveled off about the way he talked about Perth. If that was the Roosters that were being brought up, or that was Broncos, or any other club really, it seems very specific that Melbourne are comfortable with Cam going off to Perth. That's what it feels like to me. And he's how old is he? 30?
31 this year.
31. He can make a lot of money at Perth, and that's why I think they probably won't want to stand in his way.
All right, other news. Nelson not named despite serving suspension. Would you guys be playing him this week?
I think what they did last year, make him hungry, go back, get some minutes under his belt. I don't think they can win the competition without him. I think he is dangerous. I think he can make an impact. He's probably the best big man to come off and change momentum in the game. So I've watched this before, a bit of deja vu with Nelson.
Yeah, it's deja vu for sure. As Gordy said, this is not the first time we've sat here and speculated that his future's uncertain at Melbourne. They've fallen out of love with him before.
Have you heard anything? Because we've been talking about this for quite a while, and it seems like he's on the nose there. And I'm not sure if it's on-field, off-field, a combination of the two, but it feels like to me that they're slowly trying to kind of move him out the door.
Yeah, it's been like this for 24 months, Braith, where you think, okay, Nelson's time is going to come to an end, and then they fall back in love with him. That's what's happened. They've fallen in and out in love with him over the past 24 months. At the moment, they're out of love with him. But that's not to say with a couple of good performances in New South Wales Cup that he might be able to get his way back, because I'm with Gordy. Like, I think Melbourne can win the comp without Nelson, but his impact off the bench in a 20-25-minute stint, he can wreak some havoc. But, you know, rival clubs have been aware that he's been for sale for the last 2 seasons.
Could they win the comp without him, Gordy? He'd be...
Utoi Kamanu has improved.
Has he got intimidation factor the way this guy does?
No, well, it's just because of his sheer brute size. And Nelson, you wouldn't want to be taking him on front on, but I think they can without him. I just think that it would make their job
Do you
a
remember
little
the
bit
grand
easier.
final last year? He was out for the grand final, and we asked the same question: can they win this GF without Big Nelson? Obviously, they didn't. Not sure if it was because he wasn't out there, but it certainly didn't help.
I wouldn't worry yet. You've talked about they've done this before. Also, I've heard other Melbourne players, one recently on a podcast, I think, was talking about the idea that Craig Bellamy treats him differently, Nelson, to the rest. He doesn't yell at Nelson the way he might yell at other players.
Have you seen the size?
I understand.
Have you seen the size?
But Nelson,
You
not
pick
one
your
of the
battles, Dan.
The master coaches, Wayne Bennett, Craig Bellamy, man managers, they know how to treat each. This is how he pushes Nelson's buttons.
Yeah, I like it.
And I doubt if this was the round 27.
So he's getting us to push his buttons from another state.
Not in the team. I'm just saying, Gordy, this is how he pushes him to get back into peak fitness.
Craig was visibly pissed off with that last performance of Nelson's, and I think it's going to take a lot for him to earn the right to be back in the team with Craig.
Especially when I feel like Craig's been his big backer, right? There's probably others at the club that haven't been so sure, but Craig, for whatever reason, has wanted to hold on to him, and that might be the final straw.
All right, Michael Maguire is not threatened by the Broncos' record against the Storm as they welcome back Payne Haas for tomorrow's clash.
Yeah, look, testament to them. They've obviously, set the mark, but it's all a new game now. So, we've got to go down and apply what we've been practicing. This is the next step for us to get to where we want to get to, and that's at the back end of the year and playing well. So, great test for us and a great opportunity. Well, we're a different team, I guess, because I haven't been here before. So, it's about living in the now.
Well, Madge Payne-Haas seems to be moving pretty well. He'll play this week, definitely.
Yeah, well, he's had his break. He's ready to go. But yeah, it's all about management with how they're feeling at the moment in time. And unfortunately, last week he got that little bit of a nick on his leg and it was infected. So we had to look after him. He's back playing.
Yes, great news for the Broncos to have Payne-Haas back, but Madge calls for more steel in his team. Is this the only thing missing?
They won't go down there and outgrind Melbourne.
Do anyone play touch footy against them? Or?
Yeah, well, you've got to chance your arm against them.
Yeah.
If they play the way they did and Reece is allowed to express himself and they go down there and throw the ball around, a bit like that 20-odd minutes against Penrith. But Brisbane ain't going to go down there and grind.
I don't think that's what
I didn't realise Madge's record was 1 from 14 either. Yeah. So to go there and come out of that system and think this is how you're going to beat them, no one outgrinds. Probably Penrith are the only side in recent history that can outgrind.
It is fascinating. You just said Madge was there for quite a while.
Yeah.
You know, and he's obviously had success off the back of moving on and learning his traits from them, but can't beat them. No. So you know how they play, you know their systems, but you still can't beat them.
Well, worse still, Brisbane can't beat them. They've beaten them once in 17. Yeah. Was a final, so that was a pretty significant game they beat them. There's a few coaches with that sort of record. But
I think most of them have that.
That's pretty ugly.
I don't think Michael Maguire's going there and thinking they're going to outgrind Melbourne. Like, that's not what they're going to do, right? More to your point, Cory, but it's the fact it's the missing ingredient, right? Because they've got all the flair, they've got all the points, but for them to win the comp, they need a bit of that grit. And if they find that grit, I think they can win the comp.
Yeah, defensive grit like you'd need, especially when Munster and the guys start rolling on, Harry Grant through the middle of the ruck. But I believe they've got to play their style of footy and make mistakes, but just defend them.
Do you know something? I think Melbourne are the bigger unknown here. Do you know Melbourne have not played a top 6 side since Magic Round, right? They've really coasted through most of the season. They beat Penrith in round 3. Nathan Cleary was concussed after 5 minutes. They thumped the Warriors in round 6. Good win, but a long time ago. Lost to Canberra in Magic Round. They haven't played a top 6 side since, and they've sort of been... They've been doing enough, haven't they? But I'm more interested in them this week because the Broncos actually at least have some exposed form against top 8.
You think the Broncos deserve more credit than what they've been given?
Well, I just think we've seen the Bulldogs, they thumped them once. They beat them in a pre-origin game. It was a great win, but I'm not sure we can read much into that. I think there's a lot of unknowns about a lot of these top sides because they just haven't played each other. Yeah. Whereas Broncos, at least we've seen something. They had a very bad day against Penrith in Magic Round. That's probably their worst day. They lost to Canberra way back in round 2. You can probably forget that. You know, that's the second best top 8 record in the comp. Canberra's the best. I think 6-1. That's the second best. There's some pretty ordinary records. Canterbury, Melbourne, Warriors, that don't have a good record against top 8.
I think you're spot on, Dan. This is a hard game to get a read on to know how it's going to play out because the Broncos coming off that big win against South, how much do we read into that? But we know what they can do when they're at their best. Melbourne, no Jerome Hughes, went and played a Parramatta team on the rise, got the job done, wasn't pretty, but it was always going to be clunky with no Jerome. New halves pairing, Wishart at 7, Munster, trying to work out that combination. It's a hard one to know who's going to win, how much they're going to win by. Everyone's going to tip Melbourne most likely. But if Brisbane turn up and Melbourne don't evolve or improve from last week, they can win. Brisbane can win.
They'll lose as what you're saying. If they play like they did last week, I think they'll lose.
Okay.
Right? They need to be better than what they were last week. The Storm
form, Brisbane win.
Okay.
I think
it wouldn't be a huge upset,
huge, no.
right? And I think you look at the sides that are in the premiership race at the moment. I think these two have the most improvement in them. Yeah. Right, we've seen Penrith really. I know they got away with one of the titles, but I think the last month they've started to hit their straps. Canberra and Canterbury and the Warriors have produced what they've produced this year. I think these two sides have the most upside in the last month of the season.
We are taking Melbourne for granted in that we think, they've been there. They're the gold standard of excellence. They're going to finish top 4. They'll probably finish top 2. They'll be right for the finals. We haven't seen them at
peak form.
Firing on all cylinders, probably since they thumped the Tigers, and that's about 2 months ago.
We're going to find out a lot about both of these teams, and it's tomorrow night on Fox League. Now, Ivan Cleary has spoken for the first time since the NRL revealed their punishment for the trainer incident. Take a look.
Look, I think the punishment's pretty heavy, yeah, particularly for Cory. Like, I think his suspension's the biggest of anyone in the NRL this year. His penalty's based on some other things, like that. There's no justice system in the world that does that, so I think that's a little harsh. And since I've seen it, it hasn't changed my view one bit. Yeah, it was clearly a mistake. It's the first time in 4 years that Cory's actually even run that line, because his job is to stay with the team after the goal's been kicked or missed or whatever. I don't know the numbers of other clubs either, so I don't know where that stands. The NRL has obviously made a decision. I mean, whether that's been influenced by all the hysteria around it this week, that's probably up for them to work out.
Ivan maintains it was an accident, and Gordy and I have been pretty strong on this on the show. But watching that press conference, I don't know if it's a moment of weakness, but I started feeling sorry for the trainer. I watched it early and I'm like,
It's like there's two in a tackle. Who do you blame? So Ivan should have the 5 weeks. So if Ivan feels that bad, Ivan, if you called him back, you have the 5 weeks off and just let him train, run the water.
I did genuinely feel sorry for him when listening to that. And
especially on Monday when you hammered him.
As I always do, I told it how I see it.
Yeah, same
I
here.
don't change my opinion on the incident, but...
You still think he did it on purpose?
No, I didn't say... I've never said he did it on purpose. I either said he's the dumbest trainer in the league, or he did it on purpose. There's no real in between for me. It's one or the other.
I think he's had a brain fade. I seriously do. I agree with... Fortunately, I agree with what Reedy said on Monday night.
Oh, mate. You're going to put on his pink jacket.
It is. He gets hammered a lot, Reedy, but I agree with what he said.
What did he say?
Well, he said his mind was... It's clear... For mine, it's a clear accident. No one is deliberately going to do that. I just don't think in this day and age, because you're never going to get away with it, right? It's not like...
They did. They did get away with it.
How did they get away with it?
They got a $50,000 fine, please.
They got away with it. They pulled up and had another conversion attempt, right? Like, obviously that's not ideal, but they didn't get away with it. It's not like Jaden Campbell kicked the ball as he was running through and didn't get another opportunity.
He had the shits, Jaden.
Of course he did.
There's a reason they iced the kicker in the NFL and call a timeout for that exact response.
That's right. That's a good point you make.
There should be a rule in place that if that ever happens again, it's a potential 8-point try, right? For sure.
I found this to be the most offensive thing for the last week is that the NRL didn't come out immediately on the Monday morning and say, all right, there's a loophole, we're closing it. As of this moment, if a kicker is interfered with by a trainer, by a ball boy, by someone on the bench throwing a water bottle, someone not part of the 13 players, it is either automatic goal, kick in front, 8, whatever it is. They can close that tomorrow.
Agree.
Right? This could happen again tomorrow night. It could be 22-all.
It's not going to happen.
There is nothing in the rules stopping it.
It is not going to happen.
Now, the other thing I found, can I get into this?
If your side's going to win...
It's not going to happen, Gordy. Gordy.
Just hear me out, because it doesn't happen. But if it happened at any other club and they didn't have prior and they didn't wet balls and they didn't stop the game and their gamesmanship...
Wetting balls way more... that's a deliberate offence, right? That should have been a 5-game penalty, not this.
See, this is where a lot of people are split, because you clearly don't think it was an accident.
I don't think it was deliberate.
And a lot of people agree, so I'm not dismissing it. But then the ones that a lot of people think it was intentional, and then it's bad. It's formed.
Not in doing that.
Well, was the punishment too harsh or not?
No, punishment was a typical NRL punishment. Looks big. It's a wet leather sleeve, because 50. That's a wild chuko for a month at Penrith Leagues that pays that. The money does not matter.
It does matter to the trainer to miss 5 games, though, on a personal front.
You don't think he'll be... Well, I think
he'll be paid, of course. No,
as much as I felt sorry for him during that press conference, unfortunately he deserved it.
I'm going to be honest with you.
5 games?
That was a major stuffer.
You've got to get it out. Like, do you know what? The game's hard enough. No, seriously. The game's hard enough without... and players should be deciding it, right? So we get up, referees doing it, and whether it did... And I don't think that cost the Titans, like other game, because we had our opportunities. But it denied him the opportunity to think. And Jaden Campbell's reaction, as I said before, is perfect, because he's such a cool kid that plays off the cuff and loves his footy. And for him to react like that, that's why I'm going the way I am.
I'm with you, Mick. I think it was accidental as well. His reaction seemed too genuine for me. But I found the NRL yesterday fascinating in going back to the 6 incidents. So they have basically said this is systematic. Whereas we're sort of umming and ahhing, are these just a series of odd events? They're going, no, this is 6 incidents going back to 2021. Then the 50,000 is irrelevant. It should have been perhaps something like
to stop it from happening again.
A suspended sentence. You do this again, because we think you're doing this on purpose, is basically what the NRL's saying. We'll take points off you. We'll take a game off you. Gordy, they're the ones that said, we think this has gone on too long. They're the ones that said 6 incidents in 5 years, whereas all of the rest of us are thinking, geez, maybe this bloke just had a bad moment.
All right, let's move on from the poor trainer. Now, Mick, some breaking news out of South Sydney. What have you got for us?
Yeah, big news out of South Sydney today. Wayne Bennett met with Lewis Dodd during the week and told him, mate, don't think there's the future here for you at South Sydney. I'll give you permission to go look elsewhere. This is what Wayne had to say to us today. So huge news out of there. $650,000 contract. He's played just 6 games at South Sydney. Just 68 minutes in the number 7 jersey for Lewis Dodd.
It's one of the great recruitment blunders in NRL history. Will we ever find out who made this blunder? I mean,
we've tried, right? Yeah,
Why is no one owning it, but
Mark Ellison definitely.
Would you want to own it, Braith?
Well,
someone has to, though. There's accountability in everything that we all do.
Well, Mark Ellison flew to England to get the deal done.
Yeah.
Right? He flew over there to sign Lewis Dodd last year. Jason Demetrio, news broke 3 days later, Jason Demetrio was sacked. Whether or not he knew or didn't know.
No, he didn't.
I think he was aware very late in the piece.
He was already gone.
He was gone, right?
Yeah.
So he was aware late in the piece. Blake Solly, the chief executive, was obviously across it.
Yeah.
The question mark remains, was Wayne across it? That's the only one that's up in the air at the moment.
You would think he would have been asked.
Or it was already done before he got there. That's the...
that's a great area.
That's the one that's
because
the grey area.
I just can't get my head around how Blake Solly and Mark Ellison are the ones flying to England to sign a premier half for your club without the permission of a coach. I can't get my head around
It's not
it.
the first club to make a dud decision, but who do you think made it then?
Oh, Cory, the fact of the matter is that Ello and Blake got their hands all over it. It's just whether Wayne knew
Wayne might have had one fingerprint on it.
That's the only question. Did Wayne sign off on this or
but
not?
then everybody makes
everyone
makes
decisions. But it's all well and good to say he's free to go, but they're going to have to supplement his income for the next 2 years. So that's going to still come out of their cap.
Yeah, of course, because there's a lot to unpack here, right? Like the fact that he's only played 6 games, the fact that he hasn't played hardly any footy with Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell, Cam Murray, that makes a halfback's job completely different, right?
Absolutely.
So I feel like it's a little bit premature to label this kid. He's flown all the way over from England, not up to NRL standard. The fact that he just hasn't had a genuine opportunity to wear that number 7 jersey week in, week out.
Can you find out whether they're up to NRL standard, not completing the full game? Did you say 68 minutes?
He played 68 minutes in the number 7 jersey. He's played a little bit of
68 minutes. That's not even a full game.
Sounding too harsh. Everything I heard out of...
You said it on the show
I said it before they even played a game.
Yeah.
I said everything I've heard out of the Super League, from coaches, players over there, and even recruitment back here, is that there's 4 or 5 better candidates that could be better in our game over here.
Wasn't he dropped to reserve grade last year in the Super League?
And he was shopped around here before South even bought him. So, if you did your due diligence, I think there's some accountability that needs to be taken there. Now, Bunnies, they're dropping like flies. There's not more players going.
Well, there's a lot. So there's a couple that left training early yesterday. Jai Arrow, Jamie Humphreys, and Ewan Aiken. Looks like Ewan Aiken won't play against the Titans. Humphreys and Arrow look like they're in a better situation, but they're scrambling at the moment, South Sydney. Like they're just dropping.
What about Latrell?
Latrell's got a fitness test tomorrow.
Hopefully he can play.
Yeah, he trained on Tuesday.
Hopefully it's a beat test.
Got through that. Trains on Thursday. If he gets through that.
Hopefully, what do you mean?
If he gets through that.
I've heard...
no, as in like they run him out of gas.
I've heard Reggie the Rabbit's playing halfback and Wayne's on the wing this week, maybe.
They've picked everyone else except for Lewis, so maybe Reggie gets a job.
It's not even funny. It is... I've never seen anything like it.
Not like this, and not like I think they had 30-something% of their cap available. So that's $8 million on the sideline last week. It's unheard of.
It's not the Heffron curse again, is it?
Oh, the Heffron curse, eh?
Did they go down at Heffron?
Not all of them. A lot of them went down through games, and Jack Whiten suspended, and a few things like that. But
all right, Wayne's fighting to avoid the wooden spoon. Are we shocked as to how this season has
absolutely.
played out?
Absolutely. With the injuries, I think Cam Murray probably shocked with the injuries, but normally, and I know Wayne, and normally a Wayne Bennett coach side competes really hard. They win against the odds, no give up, and the way that they've sort of fallen apart, and it's just, I think I am shocked. And if you went to every South fan, they wouldn't believe that they'd be in this position. No way.
Braith, what position would they, if they reasonable run of luck, injuries obviously, but the same run as everyone else, is that a top 8 roster?
I think it's right on the edge of the. I think it is. I think they'd sneak into the. I actually think if they get everyone back on board next year and no injuries, they make the 8. You know, I'm not nowhere near the 4. I wouldn't think, but definitely 8.
Yeah, it's not a premiership winning roster for mine, but it's a top 8 one. And who, as I said before, the fact that not only are the injuries, they've got a lot of them, they're happening to their best players, their highest paid players, and suspensions to their highest paid players, right? Like it's. You look at that side on paper and it's not up to NRL standard, right? So when you sit down and go, you're surprised by it, of course. No one predicted them to be last at the start of the year. But when you look at that side that they're trotting out now, I'm not surprised by their week-to-week results at the moment.
It's got worse every week.
It's got worse, right?
All right, the NRL have handed out fines to Tigers players. Mick, what's the latest with this?
Well, just one Tigers player has been hit with a fine. None of these boys that were celebrating on the field have been hit.
So the boys in the heat of the moment, nothing.
Warning from the NRL. Brett Naden, whose video circulated post-game with some swearing, and of course the famous action is, you've nailed it now.
The COD. I'm okay with this.
So he's copped the fine. I think it'll be a couple of $1,000.
He made it 10 times worse, the whole situation with his Instagram, whatever it was, post that night. But I'm okay with this.
Totally.
What do you guys think?
Totally okay with it. This is what... The rivalry now that's set up between the Tigers and Canterbury, the fans are going to go at it. Everyone's going to go at it. I've got no issue with it whatsoever. The fact that they've been warned, you don't want it to happen, right? That's fine. Warning, move on. Brett Naden cops a little bit of a fine for his misdemeanour. Play on.
Bulldogs fans are vocal. They're in your face. They're in your grill a lot. You know, they went there. We were there. It was noisy, Dan.
Yeah, it was good.
And I think it was a reaction. Like, we build it up, say, what about this rivalry? Get there, support your team. With the players, hopefully they don't do it again and they've learnt their lesson. But I was okay with it in the heat of the battle.
Excellent response from the NRL. Formal warning, it's all it. Just don't incite a crowd. That's all it is. I've got to be honest, I have no idea what it means. Every time I hear someone talk about it or I read something about it, I'm more confused at the end of it than at the start of it. So I don't know if it's up yours or FU or if it's a term of affection.
The Lebanese community are confused because I keep hearing from my Lebanese friends that it is not a big deal. It is not a big deal, and then you hear from some others that are highly offended,
it all depends
and
on
they
the
say it's a big deal. So if they aren't on the same
today
page,
from my
how are
mate
all of us
Sharif
supposed to be on the same page? Anyway, Dragons captain Clint Gutherson is relieved after their win last week, saying it was brewing for a while.
It's probably been brewing. We've put a good 6-7 weeks together the last couple of months, and we've fallen short a couple of times, and probably the only game we were sort of in and out of was the Cowboys game. Every other game will close at the 70th, 80th minute, and we knew that a win was coming. We just had to keep playing the style we wanted to, and we're lucky enough it was on the weekend.
Talk that Josh Kerr's on the cusp of coming back to the club. How would he fit in?
Look, he's playing great up there, and he has been for a long time, so I'm not too sure what's happening there, but if he was to come back, it'd be a great signing.
Yes, a relieved Clint Gutherson and Dragons, who have lost so many close games this year, but found a way to win against the Raiders, the table-topping Raiders in Wollongong on the weekend, and boy, did they deserve it. And it was a really good performance by them, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they have deserved it, Braith, because as Gutho alluded to, they've been, except for that North Queensland performance, they've been in and around games they've lost by such small margins, and they're getting a lot out of a roster that's not really a top 8 roster either at the moment. So they're competing, they're playing for each other, and at this stage of the year with where they're at, there's some of the things that you want to see.
Yeah. They might be the only team that's knocked off Canberra and Melbourne. They might be the only team that's done the double. I'm sure someone will correct me. This season will be defined by close losses, right? 11 of their 19 games decided by 6 or less. But that can't be an excuse, because that is a skill, to win those close games. The reason Canberra's top of the table, because they win most of those close games. They lost this one, but that was a rarity. And that's one of the issues that they
Well,
have
a lot of it's
going forward.
Hasn't it, Dan? A lot of it's been based around game management, and they got that right on the weekend. Their kicking game, their halves kicking game in the second half was the best by a long way for their whole year, and it made the difference. That was the difference.
100%.
What do you think, Cory?
Yeah, well, exactly. Raiders were going to have this sort of performance, but the Dragons, they have been super competitive, but just lacked in those key moments. They got the key moments right, but the Raiders, they've been sort of sneaking away the last month, and I thought they were ready for the picking. Yeah, we were sitting there.
Yeah. All right,
Gamble responsibly, Dan.
Journo's your key player matchup for round 23, thanks to Aussie Broadband. What is it?
Well, we spoke about it at the start of the show. Storm v Brisbane. For mine, Ryan Pappenhausen up against Reece Walsh. What a matchup.
Who wins?
Melbourne.
Dolphins, Roosters, the other monumental game. Fullbacks. Hammer, Tedesco. Your halves are a pretty good battle as well. This is... Dolphins win this, they're just about in. They're just about to lock them away for the finals.
Can't wait for both. Plenty more to come, man. Tonight, following NRL 360, the journey behind Canberra Raiders flyer Xavier Savage. A moving story coming to your screens this Indigenous round.
So that's my middle name, Kulpiam. It originates from Badu Island, where I'm from. It means a lot, just to remind myself where I come from.
50 from the Savage family that have driven over from Cairns, so they will experience Zave's 50th game all together.
He has that much pride, he'll want to play for those people.
The experience on a whole has probably made me closer to Xavier.
He's just a skinny little fella, and you could tell the potential that he had.
I know he inspires a lot of us.
To trust someone else with your kid is a big thing.
Probably 98% of my family is in Cairns, so it's home, that's my story.
On the field, it's like he's a whole different person. When he comes back, it's just the Zave we know. I like that.
I'm Xavier Savage. This is where it begins.
The razzle! The dazzle!
He was ready. He had set this goal and he was ready.
If you're going to commit 100%, family has to come second.
Seen him come down as a kid and grow into a man he is today, and it's credit to you guys.
I always tell you, these are my why I do what I do, and why I'm out there giving it my all.
Brilliant rugby league. Exceptional. Exhilarating. There's the speed. Green light.
This kid is special.
Here they go! And the star is born! That is simply beautiful to watch. Pappenhausen hat-trick inside 17 minutes. Oh, that is even better! They're putting on a show on a Thursday night on Foxley.
Welcome back. Now it's time for Legends Agenda with Ben Elias and Steve Blocker-Roach. Hello, Legends.
Always good to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here now. It's a huge game. Reece Walsh, we just saw a few of his highlights.
Yeah.
He's a superstar. But he's a little bit rocks or diamonds. Do you tone him down or you just let the kid play?
Mate, you let the kid play. This bloke, hottest property in the game of NRL, right around the world. This bloke was a superstar for things he did that you couldn't just normally do day in, day out on a football match. His speed, his footwork, his pizzazz, I just love it all. He's such an exciting bloke to watch. And look, you couldn't leave him out of a side. No way.
I agree. I think he's got the potential to be the best player in the game one day. I know it's an early call, but I do think he's got the potential. The Broncos, and a lot of chat around they need to be harder block. They need to be more steely to compete with those top teams. And they got Madge there. What do you think?
I love the way the Brisbane Broncos play. You score, I score, it seems to me, with Brisbane. Big test for them tomorrow against the Melbourne Storm down there. If they can win a war and it's down in the trenches and they can win 16-12, then I'm going, mate, they're a big chance to win the comp. But I haven't seen that from them. I see them outscore sides and they score 30. opposition scores 28, they win, they're happy. But I want to see them in a war. So I reckon come semi-final time, you're going to see teams getting down in the trenches.
You see Madge in big games. He likes big games. You know, last year when we saw him as the coach for the State of Origin, he got through the big games and just wins, Blocky. And I reckon this game on the weekend will be just as...
It's a mentality thing too. If you play that way and you're flamboyant and you've got blokes in your side that play like that all the time, very hard to all of a sudden change and play that down. That's right, 100%.
Mate, talking about strengths, Big Nelson's been left out of Melbourne. Do you agree with that decision?
Mate, you know what I'd say? I reckon it's a bit of a test for him. I reckon Craig Bellamy's testing him. You think back to the grand final last year when he didn't play, a lot of pundits were saying they would have won that game with the size of Big Nelson and what he can do. He's an intimidating bugger, isn't he? There's no doubt about that. I reckon it might be a test. I reckon come semi-final time, when they're there in the big games, they're going to see how he reacts now that he's been left out and how he gets himself around the joint. Whether he puts his head down.
You think they want to see him earn it and really earn that spot?
Mate, he's very hungry. He'd be very hungry to come on the football paddock, don't you think, Blocky? Being left out, you feel, as a player, you feel like,
but I reckon
give me one more chance.
Craig Bell will be looking at a reaction from him.
Yeah.
Let's see how he reacts to being left out.
It's a good point you make because he won't want to miss another GF.
No way.
So he'll want to work his ass off to get back there.
Top four's a little bit shaky. Who do you guys have as the favourites right now?
Lockie, you can go
first. I've got the Melbourne Storm. I think if Hughes comes back, I think they've got the best roster. If you have a look at, if you sat down and you had a look at the top 30 on every side, I think the Melbourne Storm have got most of those big positions in tow. Yeah. And I also think the big games, they know how to win the big ones. I know they lost the grand final last year, but they know how to win those big games. And I reckon, it'll come from the top four, 2 bites of the cherry. Yeah. I think Melbourne. I think they've got the best roster.
And I think different. I reckon the Broncos. I know, and I hate saying it, but I just think the Broncos have got so much strike power in their side. We talked about Walsh earlier. I mean, he's just an absolute superstar. He'll get better and better as the games go on. Madge's experience, I think, makes a very big difference in these. At this time of the year. And I just like the fact that Huss has come back now. He'll make an absolute massive difference to that side. They'll strengthen up and, they start believing Adam Reynolds, one of the most experienced number 7s in the game. I just think they've got it all.
Yeah. All right, the Tigers players breach for the hand gesture, the khod.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't, Benny, here on the back page of the telly today. So, obviously, you were offended by it.
Look, I was offended by it. I could tell you, I got belted from pillar to post for making those accusations and that sign. Yeah. I know how bad it. Look, it's. You said it earlier. Yeah. You got a lot of Lebanese people, and each of them say it's a different meaning. And I haven't got the definition of the actual meaning, but I do know one thing. I grew up in a Lebanese family with 7 children, and my father and mum were very strict.
You'd get flogged if you did something like that, wouldn't you?
I did. Yeah. I used to get flogged, so I was quite against it. And,
but that's okay, Benny, because I think this is the thing, right, is that the older generation, they are more offended than the younger generation. So maybe over time, it's not as offensive now as it once was, maybe. I don't know, but that's the feeling I've got a little bit.
Have a look at the feeling of the players. Yeah. It was, and I don't take that away from them. Yeah. I mean, when we play State of Origin, Gordy, the players don't give the bird to the spectators.
Oh, I might have.
I think I did.
We did. Once upon a time we did. But now it's...
What do you think?
Well, the other thing too is, my point of view is, and I don't really know enough about it to be able to talk about it, but the thing that got me is, I was all excited about the Tigers beating the side that's coming second in the premiership. I was excited about that. And then they carried on with all that crap, when they scored the try. Brent Naden, right? Yeah. He's lucky to be back in the side. Mate, if I was him, I wouldn't be getting involved in that sort of stuff. I'd be putting my head down and trying to keep my position in that team. I was disappointed. Finally, the Tigers have got back where they're starting to win respect. They beat a side that's coming second in the comp, and all of a sudden they do that.
Is there something with their culture, Blocker? Because, like you watch with the LA Raiders back in the 80s, they wanted to be the bad boys and be, is that what the Tigers want to be?
I'll tell you, my take on that, Gordy, is I didn't see Appy anywhere near it. A great leader. Yep. He doesn't need to do that sort of stuff. No. Mate, so I reckon they should take a feather out of his cap and carry on like he does.
And you've got to give a big plus to this bloke here, mate. Dewey absolutely blitzed them. That's the best game I've seen him play for a very, very long time.
I think it's the best game he's ever played.
And they say, you know, he's had 3 AC joints, which he's had no luck at all. And that running 90 metres there away from the Bulldog players, I mean, that just showed.
Do you want the Tigers to re-sign him?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what I was
100%.
a little bit disappointed in. Finally, as I said, the Tigers have beaten the top 4 side, mate.
Yeah.
They've gone well. They get an offer to keep one of the players. But the big argument all the time is we let all our players go. You go through the last decade of what the Tigers have done. They win the premiership with the teams they let go. So they offer Dewey a 1-year contract. St George offer him 2 years, and then the Tigers come back and go, we'll give you 2 years. Why didn't you give him 2 years in the first place? He's your best player.
Look, in defence of the club block, he has had a lot of injuries.
Mate, he's their best player, Bennett. You just said how good he is.
He is our best
player. Give him
player.
2 years.
Man, it was back-to-back week, last week and this week, both our best player.
They did act quick too, and they've offered him, I think, the 2 years, I believe. I'm just not sure.
And he's already said he wants to stay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the money's right, but that's for them to sort out. But the Panthers trainer, to be fair, I'm sick of talking about it, but it has been a big. It's been a big talking point, a controversial one, which is why it's got so much attention. How did you two see this?
Well, I saw this as look at him. Have a look at the goal kicker. He's ready to go. He's fully focused. This joker runs across it in front of him. It disturbs him. He has to go and reset himself and try and concentrate back. He kicked all the other goals except for this goal, and it was no coincidence. And you could see how upset he was after the kick. You could see everyone. That is just right. That's blatant stuff.
I don't reckon there's any excuse for it.
No excuse.
He's a good bloke, and that I know the fella personally. He's a good bloke, mate. You can go around the back of him, and I'll tell you what. I'll tell you how we stop it. Give him that kick a goal. He misses it. Give him another kick in front.
He's filthy with him. Look at him.
They won't do it again.
Yeah. All right, now it's time for What Are You Loving? Thanks to Maccas. What are you loving this week, boys?
I'm loving the fight for the top 8 and the Dolphins up against the Roosters this week.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to see. Farmworth is out of the side for the Dolphins. They've had plenty of fight in them this season. The Roosters have been improving. Who's going to make the top 8? It starts now.
Yeah, that's a good game.
I'm looking forward to the big Broncos game. I think that'll be an absolute cracker. I think game, that doesn't get much bigger than that tomorrow night.
2 awesome games. Now stick around, legends. There's plenty more to come on Wednesday, August 20. Nikita Zoo returns, and the only place you can watch it is on Main Event. Welcome back. Time now for Ain't As Good As I Once Was. And after the death of Queensland great Sam Backo on Sunday, today is all about the characters in our game, and Sam was one of the best.
What were those forward hits like earlier? It looked like...
They played good. They played strong, the boys.
What about the last 10 minutes, Sam? Was it that defence that won the match?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, the boys tied it right up.
Thanks very much, Sam.
Big old Ruby. Was he rest his soul. What a champion, mate. Mate, he could run the ball, that bloke. I'm telling you. He's the only front row ever to score 3 tries in an English against the Englishmen in Australia. Yeah. He was an unbelievable ball runner. But Sam, mate, he was a big, strong bloke. Here I come,
Who's your character? We're going to talk about characters.
Mine would have to be... I got 2. First, Terry Regan, obviously, but the second one would have to be Big Dallas Donnelly. I played against West when I was a boy.
Oh, is that Regan?
There's Terry Regan there. Mate, he played with
Terry Regan.
Yeah, he could play. He played for the Tigers. He played for the Roosters and the Canberra Raiders. He had headgear on one day. His hair was a bit long, so he cut it off with the ankle scissors, and he took it off after the game. And mate, he was a funny bloke.
And he had patches everywhere.
Oh, mate, just had patches everywhere. But mate, he would go that hard. Tough. I remember one day we used to have these ministers and priests in before the game. And he'd come up and he said, "Forgive me, Father, because I have sinned." He said, "You haven't played yet." He goes, "I think I'm going to kill someone."
What about you, Benny?
Mate, I can't go past Kevy Wallers and Alfie Langer, mate. I've got to say that those 2 halves on the 1990 Kangaroo Tour just made the tour special. They just loved getting the bigger fellas. Oh, the greatest pranksters
in the world.
Mate, they attacked us
in the forest, didn't they? We'd go to France and they'd climb trees and attack you one out.
Alfie, that is Alfie. On and off the football paddock. He's just one of those just lovable arrogance, and you just can't not love. And his idol Tommy Raudonikis. When you talk about larrigans, him and Tommy were
games had so many, but
clones
just
of
with
each
Alf
other.
and Kevy, like they were such a great partnership.
unreal.
And you know, people ask you what they're like, but what you see is actually what you
Correct.
get, and they're pests.
What about you?
Oh, both of them. Both of them. Look at them, mate. They had the number one song like "Hey Hey We're the Broncos," and like when it come on late night on Rage, it would just have the Broncos, and there was no video clip or anything. But
What they do to you in France?
Oh, they used to climb trees. We went out there and we were in the drink and we'd go out in the forest and that. We'd have to roam around and they'd jump out of trees and attack us and that. Wait till you're one out. They tried to get Big Mel one day.
They bit him on his ankle.
Mate, mate, Big Mel was throwing him. Big Mel was throwing 15 metres.
We all broke curfew one day, right? And then Alf got busted coming out of the room, and Wayne caught him and said, "What are you doing?" Alf goes, "I think all the boys have gone out." He dobbed us.
He was leaving.
He dobbed us all in.
We're going to go. Thank you, legends. Great stuff. We'll see you next time. Up next, Joel Kane's weekend forecast, and following us, it's the journey behind Canberra Raiders flyer, Xavier Savage. Welcome back. It's time for an update from Sportsbet with the great Joel Kane.
Sugar.
Favourite time of the week. What do you got for us this week, Joel?
Boys, big blockbuster coming up. You've seen it on Fox League. It is the Melbourne Storm taking on the Broncos. Melbourne Storm in the past have owned the Broncos, but if they're going to win this comp, they need to fix this up. This has been a problem, I reckon, for at least 18 months. The right-hand side. So where do they concede tries? That's almost double the other side of the field. It's a big problem for Coach Bellamy. Now, hand in glove, we like that sort of stuff. I tipped you at the start of the year at about 100-1, Jesse Arthurs. I said the left Broncos winger will get the top try scorer. Well, I was kind of right. I'm going to be wrong. Arthur's been hooked. Katapani come in. He's gone. But the left winger for the Broncos, if they were its own player, if they kept it the same way, 21 tries scored. So the rationale was right. They'd be winning in a space. Now, Cobbo got dropped. Break glass in the event of emergency. Well, they did that last week. Look, this was a training run. This is probably the perfect lead-up you want. But this guy's back, folks. He is back, ready to go. He's some kind of player. He's on that left wing position, hand in glove against the Melbourne Storm. So,
and you're a fan too, aren't you? Of
well,
Cobbo?
he's just such a big athlete. Have a look at him.
Yeah. And you know what it's like, Gordy? When you look around in the sheds and you see Cobbo, you go, okay, there's another big player.
Yep, beautiful.
Get him for a double?
You can, but what I've done, folks, check out the feed. I've plonked a bet there, the bingo. We're leading out with Cobbo, Braith.
That's your lead, Cobbo.
Yep, that's where we're leading.
And how's your form been lately? Just a quick check-in with you.
We're going good.
Going
that
good?
way, yeah.
All right, Joey, thank you very much. Thank you, Gordy. That's
Thanks,
it for
Braith.
NRL 360 for this week. Time now for the Fox League exclusive, the story of Xavier Savage.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.